Because if you want that $1 million house and you sell widgets, you know, you need to have X amount of widgets sold with X amount of profit in order to get that $1 million house. You see what I'm saying? This needs to have some type of matching there. So the next thing is, you got to go and figure out the product you want to produce, the thing you want to give to your people, to your clients. You figure that out and you visualize that. You visualize that product reaching the hands of your consumers, customers, clients, patients, whatever it is. And you visualize them being happy. That's what you do. And then you have to visualize how to make the product, probably. But you also need to visualize how to sell it, how to market it. You got to visualize all that. You got to visualize the quantities of all of that. I told you how much the quantity is important, and you most likely will never be right, but you will get into that direction. So you will go, wow, I want $1 million house, and able to pay for it nicely, so you know how much that is if you have to whatever. And I want to be, having kind of 2-3 kids and send them to college and all those things, and that costs X amount of money. And so I want to be basically, this is more or less what I want. And all the other little personal stuff in it, which should include, I want to be only working 3-4 days a week if possible, or I want to have at least 2-3-4 weeks a year vacation or more. Or I would like to be, while doing business, I would like to go to school and to learn something else, whatever that might be. Or I want to go and teach, whatever that might be. Or I might want to do social work for whoever, wherever, whatever. And you've got to fit that in your goal, because it changes the whole magnitude. I want to be with my wife X amount of times and evenings and whatever. You understand? Because if you don't fit that into part of your goal, if you only make your goal money, if you only make your goal my company being large, at the very, very best, if everything goes right, you will get that. And the rest will fall by the sideway. And you will have a marriage which is miserable because you're never home. You will have kids which don't know their dad. I mean, you will kind of like retire and say, well, I never got to teach in the university. That was always a small dream, but I guess it didn't come together. Well, I should be happy with what I got. That's how you will live your life. No. This is not right. You got to imagine the health, and you got to always at any given point in time, imagine what you need to do for that. You don't just imagine good health. You imagine that you need to eat the proper food, whatever that might be, not overcooked food, not too much butter, whatever that might in your mind consist of needing to do. You've got to imagine those things and live them, dream about them, daydream and dream about them during the night. I always dream about that beautiful stuff, how and what I go about it. Oh my God, I wake up so accelerated because I dream about it all the time. All those beautiful things. So you get your goals, yes, and you define them a little bit. Don't worry about too much defining them, but live them at least. Then you figure out, what do you need to sell to make, and how much of it do you need to sell to make? And then by figuring out, yes, you're figuring it out a little bit, but you're imagining it. Really, we're talking about imagination. Figuring it out something is your imagination. This is what you imagine, what you could and should do. Keep in mind, Jack Welch says, only 1 in 4 decisions he makes is right. So whatever you imagine probably isn't going to be so right, but you keep imagining and reimagining and reimagining, and not just imagination. That's what life is all about. That's the journey. Then you imagine on how much marketing it will take, and what kind of marketing you could do based on what you know, and what kind, and where could you go to learn more about marketing? Where could you go to learn more about making your product? That's what it is all about. That's imagination. That's what you need to do. I know there's a tape and a series and a movie out there called The Secret. And I have watched it, and I found it pretty good. while at the same time it's disgusting. It's good on one hand and it's disgusting on the other hand, because it misleads you. And I haven't seen a million of people who have watched this movie apparently, or more, way more probably. It was actually quite a big hit some 2, 3, 4, whatever years ago anyway. I haven't seen all of a sudden the planet going into wow and everybody getting everything they want. I'll tell you why. Because The Secret kept a freaking secret. I actually just told you the secret. The Secret said, imagine your goal. It talked about that very beautifully. Very beautifully. And then it's supposed to happen. Basically, imagine a butterfly and it will appear. Imagine lots of money and it will appear. Imagine 2,000 customers and they will appear. Bullshit. And maybe at a super high spiritual level, this could possibly be happening. I am not even saying it couldn't. I know I'm not there. And the best successful and super spiritual people, they took action. They took action. Kennedy imagined flying to the moon. And then he set a team together. He gave that team marching order. That team put other teams together and they marched. And one day they went to the moon. Okay? Yeah? Mr. Gandhi imagined a free country. And then he set on and gave us marching orders. Or you guys, he gave marching orders. He did things. He made other people doing things. And he imagined that. He knew what will happen when different people go to court. He imagined what will happen if he tells the Indian people to stop buying English clothes. He knew what the English people will do, what will happen to them. He imagined the actions. Are you with me? So, imagine what you want. Fine, great, beautiful, be detailed. And The Secret did a good job at that, a super good job. Then imagine what you need to give to the world to make that happen, because you need to have some exchange. Something needs to be produced by you for you to get that. And then imagine the product you produce, how you will be producing it, and how you will be giving it to the people, how you will be selling it, how you will be marketing. Imagine the quantity of marketing you might need to do. And yes, you're going to be wrong almost all the time. You're going to probably have to adjust it as you go along. When they fly to the moon, they don't, they aim for the moon when the rocket shoots up, but every couple, 2, 3 minutes, they need to adjust it. No different than you with your car. You drive down the road, it looks like you're just going and drive. No, every second you go little, adjust. Even if the road is completely straight, like on a beautiful highway in the United States of America, you still need to constantly adjust. We don't realize how normal that is in business. Every time you have to adjust, you look at it as failure and look at the program doesn't work and all that. No, it works beautifully. It's part of the travel. All right. I hope I said enough. Imagine your goal. Imagine what it is you want to give to the world, which might be able to give you enough money so that you can get this type of thing. And then imagine how you make that particular product and keep working on imagining it, and then imagine how and what you have to do and in which quantity you have to go and market it to give it to the people, and be prepared to work on your adjustments and your imagination on a constant basis. You very well know that if a person stops imagining, if a person stops learning, if a person stops having goals, he is a dead man. People don't get sick at the age of 60 because at 61 get sick. They get sick at the age of 60 because they retire, don't set new goals. They stop imagining living because apparently they got the golden watch and it is time not to imagine. All the problems are over. Wow, I can be happy with no problem. And within 2 months people get sick like a dog. Keep imagining. That's what will keep you young. And this is what imagining is all about. What I told you is missing in almost all goal-setting type of stuff, okay? You keep doing that to a very huge and large degree, and everything will most likely, somewhere along the line, work in the direction you want it to work. Maybe not always at the speed you want to work, but it will go there and it will accelerate. And the compound activity, the compoundness, Mr. Einstein or whoever the heck said it, which is the 7th world wonder or the 8th world wonder, will kick in. It will kick in. It is so wonderful. It is up in our mind. It is here. You know, the resourcefulness I talked about, that we need to be resourceful. It's not about the missing and lack of resources. Of course we have a lack of resources, otherwise we wouldn't have an obstacle, we wouldn't have a game to play. If there is nothing more miserable than a lazy, miserable, rich boy or girl which had never had to work, which has no problem, which gets spoon-fed with a golden spoon and didn't have to be resourceful about life at all. Those are the druggies of this world. Those are the suicidal of this world. Okay? Those are the depressed people of this world. People who are out there kicking, fighting and trying to overcome problems. Yes, they may bitch about the problems a little bit while they have them, but in the end they know that this is the game. You do not like playing chess with anybody who is a lot worse than you, where there is no problem. You do not like playing baseball or cricket with anybody who is a lots worse than you, because there is no game if they are. You want the guy to be just a little bit better, you know, than you, so that if you beat him, it's like, yeah, I beat the guy. And you get even more satisfaction if you beat a guy who is a lot better than you. So why is the satisfaction coming when you beat a guy who's a lot better, and why is there no satisfaction if you beat a guy who's not even in your league? Because there was no problem to overcome. There was no imagination needed to overcome the problem. But if there is some of that obstacles there, there's imagination needed. Imagination to be resourceful on how to happening. This is where it's at. Go and start imagining big. And start imagining what you want, but start imagining what you want to give, and start imagining how you will give it. How will you get it? Because no matter what, how good of a product you have, just having a better mousetrap does not make people coming to you, or mice getting trapped, or whatever it is. Having a better mousetrap doesn't work, never has worked. You need to imagine on how to make the people out there need and want your product. Yeah. That's what you need to do. Go for it, because you will have fun at it. Goodbye.